Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Eddie Marcus here. Look, for the purpose of this conversation, many of you have heard of Moses. He was supposed to lead the Hebrew children out of Egypt into the promised land. The story goes that they left Egypt and they went to a location sufficient enough to become the promised land. But they had no concept of what the promised land was or how to achieve it. And so for 40 years of wandering around and accomplishing nothing, the story goes that Moses just left them. There's another story that goes that there was a young man, a spirit, that wanted to come to earth to deliver the true gospel so that it might set the captives free. It might relieve the suffering and the pain that people were enduring due to their ignorance. Well, the story goes that that one lived doing what some might call magic, but miracles. And he lived with the 33 years. Nothing changed. So, ladies and gentlemen, I say to those of you who don't even believe in Jesus, I'm not here to try to force you to believe in Jesus. I want you to believe in the message. So if you can't say that Jesus brought the message because you don't know, say that Eddie Marcus brought the message because you hear it, and if you're watching a video, you can see it. The message is this, without me trying to describe everything that's going on in the world, because everything that's going on is corrupt. Everything that's going on is accepted by a certain group of people. Another group of people associate with it a little less. Another group of people even less. That makes everybody that's within this conglomerate participants in it, owners of it. It makes you, if you don't agree with it, a slave for going along with it. And if it's something that you know is wrong and you go along with it anyway, it makes you a slave to whatever your motivation might be. So what I'm saying in essence, ladies and gentlemen, is that every institution that exists on the earth, any and everywhere, has a great amount of good in it. The good is the trick that is used to manipulate and set you up for a deception. Because it leads you to think that the ones that you are dealing with are just like you. But they're not. There's no good in them, or even less good. So what do you have? People everywhere taking advantage of one another. Every department, every potion, every inner structure of it, and you break it down. There's corruption there and there's good there. When you see or can see that the corruption is there, is you see a lot of pain. You see a lot of suffering. There's crying hearts. There are situations that people are enduring that they don't want to endure. They are being hustled. Now, everybody on earth is being a victim of this evil. You got, let me see if I can break it down a little bit more understandable to you. People who work for money, minimum wage. You work for minimum wage. First of all, you're a slave to the system. You are a slave to the system. And you are what's considered the field nigger. You work for minimum wage, and you are considered in that position as the field nigger. Now, you only need a certain amount of education, and it's a specific kind, a certain amount of health care, and that's a specific kind, housing, and all the other benefits of life. You might not, well, most of the part, you're not entitled to any of that. Just what you need to be the field nigger. Now, there are those who make big money. Lawyers, engineers. These people are necessary for the system. Engineers more so than lawyers. Lawyers are only here for a period of time, dealing with situations. And so you got some that pay less, more, and more, depending upon what their role is in the establishment and maintenance of the system. But they themselves are slaves to the system. You've heard it said something about a one world government. For the past few years, they haven't been talking about it that much because they have so much other stuff to talk about to get your mind off of stuff like that, get you persuaded and conditioned to be controlled and manipulated by other little things. But you keep on looking down on the ground. You never know what's trying to creep upon you. All of this stuff is going on, ladies and gentlemen. And why is it going on? Because this is a plantation. You've heard us say it's a school of life. It is also a plantation. It's a plantation that's ran by those who have decided that they were going to be God. They can do it better than God. In fact, God's way doesn't work for them. They want to be boss. And so in every way they possibly can, they boss everything. And everybody who exists on that money, who need that money, who got to have that money, are controlled. Now, the real bosses, the real devils, the real perpetrators of this evil, they don't need money. They just go where they go. They're already known. Everything is free for them. Everything is free. But the rest of us who got to go get a paycheck, we're slaves. Now, there are people trying to tell you that Republicans and Democrats got something to offer you. Nothing but more slavery. They're not for you. They're for themselves. That's why they are blind and can't see what is happening. So you really got no representatives. Everybody's out for themselves, and everybody's a slave. And nobody wants to be a field nigger. Nigger nonetheless. And so the people who come to tell you the truth that everything on earth that is being used to make everything on earth that you are familiar with, that material came from a power you can't see. I call it God. Didn't come from me. Didn't come from us. Came from God. Came with the earth. And all of the things that we collectively can imagine that we might want to experience while in these bodies and in these forms can be made possible and can be achieved if we want to do it. That too is a gift from God. So that when we put our hands to the plow, as they say, exercising our careers that give us our greatest desires, we just do what we do what we love doing. Everybody's doing what they love doing. Somebody might be planting seeds. Somebody might be mowing the grass. Somebody might be watering the grass because he got to go and he got to come. And somebody got to be there all the time. And we got enough folks here doing those kinds of things to make sure that it's always plentiful and never suffer anything. And as we put our hands to the plow, we are creating houses and food and clothing and transportation and infrastructure. We're creating going to the moon. We're creating whatever you can imagine. We're creating it in abundance that goes to the reservoir of goods and services. There for everybody who might want, need, or desire of it because they are part owners of it. They don't pay anything. They've already paid. They engage themselves. That's the payment. You engaged yourself in what exists. That is your payment. Now your benefit is to exercise it, to get it and use it anytime you need, want, or desire. That is as simple as it could possibly be, my friends. And that is divine. You don't need a law book. You don't need no judges. You don't need guns. You don't need anything to be satisfied when you're doing things the right way. And damn it, when you're trying to do things the right way and everybody else is blind, they can't help it. You were blind. I was blind. I'm still blind, but I can see a little bit better than I used to, even though I got these shades on and not glasses. And it's all good. But I got to tell you, I know you worried about your mortgage. You a slave worried about his mortgage. You have heard that God is your master. I want you to realize, give God you. Belong to God. Stop belonging to these problems that exist. They are created by the system. I don't know what more to say, ladies and gentlemen. I want to speak to common people like me. And those of you who are so educated, you know how it is. Can't nobody tell you anything. You think you know it all because they told you more than they told the others. But they didn't tell you what you didn't need to know. You didn't need to know who was running the show. They already got that covered. Now you just as a slave, just as the man sleeping in the ditch, sleeping under pillars. I know you think you're more than they are because they taught you to believe that you are. They gave you more money for what you do so you can accept the fact. But you need air, you need blood, you need food, you need clothing, you need shelter, you need education and healthcare, just like he does. The difference is that you can get it because you were bought into the program of Satan and you got the money. He hasn't. Not that he hadn't bought into it, it's just that the system has no need for him. And in a few more years from now, many of us, the system won't have need for because they got artificial intelligence. And in a few years from now, they will be wiping us off by the millions. You know how they've been doing. Look at the history. The wars have been fought. Billions of people have been killed in wars. So human life doesn't mean a thing. And in a few years from now, when they get control us just like they want to, artificial intelligence will be wiping away all of the stuff that we have been doing. And they will not need the people. When I say they, I'm talking about the system. The system won't need human beings to be slaves no more. They ain't not gonna set you free so you can just run in and really enjoy life. No, they gonna kill you. And allow the artificial intelligence to take care of it because all they need is a little oil. And they might need some chips too. But it's not like, hey, they got a right. But the real trick is, while they will get rid of the rest of the people, those who think they're controlling and manipulating will get got too, eventually. So ladies and gentlemen, I want to tell you right now, you all to, if you want to be free, submit yourself to God. All of you, individually. I'm not trying to say come together as a big group. No, I'm talking about individually stand up for God. And if many of you are standing up for God till it looks like it's a big group, a big city, a big town of people standing up for God, let it be because each of you do. Don't let it be because you over there trying to be with somebody else. Yeah, I'm sort of like that. No, we don't want no sort of like that. You either are like this or you're not. And I'm fussing because I lived a little long time, man. I see this stuff and it's getting worse. I see the pains and suffering you're going to endure. I got kids. I know what they're going to have to go through. I know if they got kids, but grandkids going to have to go through. Yours too. This ain't no game no longer. Not when you know what's happening. You better do something about it. And what do you do about it? You stand up and expose the ugly by revealing that which is beautiful. Simple enough. You don't need no gun to do that. You don't have to slap anybody to do that. You just stand up and let your standing up do the slapping. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's enough for today. Eddie Marcus saying, until next time, goodbye.